All right, let's go to the US now, where President Joe Biden has cast his ballot in the election he was once contesting. He voted early, just over a week away from Election Day, while his Vice President Kamala Harris and her rival Donald Trump continue to campaign in the all-important swing states. Our North America correspondent Jade McMillan is in the bellwether county of Erie, Pennsylvania. G'day, Jade. We'll get to why you're there in a minute, but Joe Biden has now joined millions of Americans in voting early at this election.
Yeah, that's right, James. It was only a few months ago that Joe Biden was a candidate in this election, but instead we've today seen the president lining up at a polling station in his home state of Delaware so that he could cast an early ballot for his Vice President Kamala Harris. It didn't appear as though Joe Biden got much special treatment at that polling place. That line took nearly 40 minutes to get to the front, just over a week out from Election Day. He, among millions of people, as you said, who have voted well and truly ahead of November 5th local time. Joe Biden also took the opportunity to take a swipe at Kamala Harris's opponent, Donald Trump. He held a very high-profile rally at New York's Madison Square Garden yesterday, and one of the many speakers was a comedian who described the US territory of Puerto Rico as a floating island of garbage. Now, that comment has attracted a lot of criticism today. Donald Trump's campaign has taken the fairly unusual step of distancing itself from those remarks. They've said that it was a joke that doesn't reflect the views of the former president. But here's what Joe Biden had to say.
It's simply embarrassing. Beneath any president. But that's what we're getting used to. That's why this election is so important.
Now, Donald Trump has hit back at that. He's also accused Democrats of sidelining the president from Kamala Harris's campaign in this final stage.
All right, Jade, tell us about where you are, because voters in that county have a bit of a reputation for picking a winner in an election.
Yeah, that's right. We hear a lot about the swing states in this election, the 7 out of the 50 US states where the race between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump is considered competitive, the states that could ultimately end up deciding the outcome. Pennsylvania is one of them, and here in Erie County in the state's northwest, it's sort of seen as a battleground within a battleground. That's because in every election since Barack Obama was first elected in 2008, the candidate that got the most votes in this part of Pennsylvania ended up winning the White House. So it's seen as a bellwether, a bit of a gauge for how Americans more generally are feeling, and it's getting a lot of attention from both campaigns at the moment. We spoke to some locals about how they're feeling just over a week out.
We had 4 years of Trump and he did nothing for us, so we have to give her the opportunity to show us. And like I said, we're not going back. So it's turning into a woman's world now too. It's time for a woman president.
I'm going to vote. I'm just not sure who I'm going to vote for. I don't know yet. I still haven't made my mind up.
Sometimes he's very brash, and that's fine. That is who Donald Trump is. And you like him or you don't. My theory is I can overlook a lot. Give us good policies.
So pretty split down the middle, James, from our very unscientific survey at least. But one thing that everyone we spoke to pretty much did agree with was that they do believe the opinion polls when they suggest that this is going to be an incredibly close race. There have been a lot of questions raised about whether we should trust the polls this time around, given they tended to underestimate support for Donald Trump in 2016 and 2020. A lot of experts have said we just can't know at this point in time if they're painting a true picture, but the overwhelming assumption, at least, is that it does look like it's going to be a nail-biter.
All right, Jade, I hope you've got some rest over the past couple of weeks, because it could be a big month or 2 or 3, maybe more. Look after yourself.